Hello, 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 hello. Um, Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Roxanne. Okay, so Roxanne, I am going to send you a request to join. Well, actually, I don't. Oh, there we go. Let's see what happens. There you are.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good today. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Absolutely. It's so good to connect.
So good to connect. Okay, so I want to do a little bit of an intro and just kind of set everyone up. Those of us who are, those of you who will be live with us tonight, and for those of you who are going to see this later on as as a replay, my name is Ruth Johnson, and I work with Happy on the marketing side. And a big part of what we do at Happy the Movement, Happy is an app where you can connect to your community. You can connect with folks who care about you, who want to encourage you, who want to affirm you, and who can really create some systems of emotional support. So we want to encourage everyone to download Happy. Your first session is on us, and so it's more affordable than therapy. We're available around the clock. There are some really great people who can connect with you and who can listen to you and talk with you and really help build community. And one big part of Happy the Movement's work is to really focus on music and the way that it creates not just community for us, but the way that music really allows us to express ourselves. And so we do these Happy Music lives and we connect with musicians, we connect with artists, we connect with fans of music and lots of different kinds of people who really let their work speak for itself. And I'm so excited to have Roxanne. What's your last? How do you say your last name?
Christian.
Okay, so Roxanne Christian from Live Life Music International.
Yes,
It's
Live,
Live
Love,
Life.
Life Music International.
It's like the mantra. It's just like you have to like get the mantra together. And I'm really excited to welcome you because you are a certified licensed music therapist. And so I have a bajillion questions for you, first of all, because I'm really into like the science of healing. And so I'm gonna like have some really great questions for you. But I would love if you would just kick it off and tell us about yourself and your work and how it informs how you show up in the world.
I love that. Thank you. Um, so I'm an international board certified music therapist. Music therapy is an allied health profession that systematically uses music to work on non-musical goals. So think of any goals, whether it's uh, rehabilitation physically or mentally with dual diagnosis and substance abuse, or it's stress management, behavior modification, um, executive functioning, social skills, whatever the goals are, and with any age and any population, there are systematic ways in which board certified music therapists create treatment plans to meet those goals with music interventions. So, just so people know, part of how people become board certified or the process is that they find an accredited school that offers the Bachelor of Arts for Music Therapy. And there are quite a few of them globally. And then usually that's like a 4-year program. And then you do your 1,300 hours of internship. And then that allows you to be eligible to take the board certification exam. And so long as you pass that, then you, or once you pass that, you're a board certified music therapist. And to maintain the credentials, you have to, within a certain cycle, be able to do continuing education units related to the field in some way. So that's the gist of it, to sum it all up.
Well, it's funny because it's not, it's a very serious thing, right? Like you have to you have to, in order to be a nurse, you have to be board certified. You have to like go take your boards. And so there's a lot of credentials. What I love of all of that you said is that you can use music to solve problems that are not necessarily music related. you know? And I think about that because sometimes we don't even know that we're healing ourselves because, right? So like if you're feeling sad and you want to feel uplifted, there's a certain song you play, right? If you're having a hard time and you need to like power through, there's a certain song you play. When you're feeling in love, there's a certain song you play. So talk about how like music really fills us in those ways.
I love that question. That's a cool question because, you know, we relate to music. The reason why we respond so well to music as humans, and not everyone does, believe it or not. There are people out there who could care less for music.
Right, right.
Have you met one of those people, Ru?
Actually, because my oldest sister is like that. She like could take it or leave it. Like she's not really hyper focused on like music like, but I am. I'm like the exact opposite of that. Like I'm always like there's always music in my head, there's always music playing. I'm always like, so yeah, I do. I've met people like that.
Right? So there's a spectrum, but I would say for the most part, humans are wired to music and respond so well to music because it started from before they even entered, like placed their feet on earth. You know, from the time they're in the womb, they're hearing the mother's heartbeat, the breathing cadence, they're hearing the sounds of the amniotic fluid flushing or swishing around. They, you know, they hear the tones and pitches and inflections of the mother's voice and all the other outside sounds. And can you hear my son in the background?
I can't, but that's okay.
Okay, because he is just going to town with his video games right now. I'm so sorry.
Making a joyful noise.
So, so to be more specific in answering your question, think of it like this. Music is life. How? Because life, there are major parts in life and minor parts in life. The cadences of life change, the tempo of life changes. Right now, people experiencing uncertain times in the pandemic, the cadence of life as a society has changed. And we think of the silence in between, the tension and the resolution, the dissonance and the harmony. These are all aspects of living. And so it's put into music in different forms and different genres. And don't you ever wonder, Ru, when you're feeling sad, that sometimes sad music makes you feel better? And why is that?
Yeah, actually, and I read this thing in Rolling Stone today that was talking about like the most heartbreaking piano chord, and I guess it's note D or something, and it's like the one that makes you just be like, oh. And I think like I have wondered, you know, when I need to express myself or make, you know, because this is a mental health platform, I think of it from the perspective of sometimes it's difficult to express emotion, you know, and so sometimes I will like this is a great example, and I talked about this on my social media, but I was just like, I woke up with like raging PMS, quite frankly. And I knew that I was on one because I woke up and immediately was like, I need to listen to Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You 3 times in a row. I was like, please give me a power ballad.
That's funny.
Something's happening. Like, I don't know. Give me a power ballad because I'm full of emotion. So, yes, I have most felt that.
Yeah, so like something like that for a specific example, like there's so much drama in that song and you're feeling it. You're like, oh, I'm in my women time right now. Like,
yes,
and
yes.
so because there's so much drama in that song, you can relate to it and therefore you feel comforted. So it reduces the anxiety, the feeling, the discomfort, whatever you're feeling that you don't like, right?
Yeah.
So usually, and that's one of the things I always want to point out, like I encourage people to use music intentionally. Like, are you using this piece of song to relax or to feel energetic and rejuvenated, or to feel confident, or because you're angry and you want to just pound it out, or whatever? But be a little bit more intentional with how you respond to the music that you hear and what it means to you and what it triggers within you, and how you're listening to music, when and what it's for. And I think you just end up, because music uses both sides of the hemisphere, and that's why it's good with stroke patients,
The
people.
brain, right? Like the. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Exactly, and that's why it's good for people with conditions like um, dementia or Alzheimer's and things like that, because it does use both hemispheres of the brain. So if one side is not working, it has a way to tap into the other through the theory of it, as well as the language aspect of it, and the melodies, which is vibrational, as well as the stories and the images that come along with the music that we hear. So sometimes I go off on a tangent, so I'm so sorry about that. I get so excited.
I love that tangent because it is like that's what I think is so important to understand is like the science of what happens when our brain fires in a certain way. And I'm curious to know how you can have do you see like can you actually see improvements in your clients and the people you're doing music therapy with based on like when they first come into your office versus like how you start using the music and the sounds with them? Can you see like a marked difference in their mental
Oh,
health?
absolutely. And it depends, like, I mean, I could give so many examples, so you'd have to really just choose one, because I work with different populations, so it looks different and the interventions are different depending on the age and what their goals are. So for example, and I'll just give you some examples,
Yeah, I love that.
it's more tangible that way. So if a music therapist is working on a memory care unit, and whether the and let's talk about a group setting, these are some of the goals: being able to engage socially and appropriately, being able to like really interact and make eye contact and verbally socialize with others, to reality orientate. So if someone who has Alzheimer's, their short-term memory is the last to go. So if you sing songs of their childhood or formative years, even though they're not remembering the present, they will connect with you and start to engage, and their affect will change. And then through a song selection, you can orient them to the present. Like, okay, so it's summertime, and you'd be singing some old school, like I'm talking like 1930s type stuff, songs about the summer. And then you have these discussions like, this is the season, this is what's going on, this is what's happening. And even if it's just a short period of time that they're oriented to reality, their loved ones and visitors love that, because they get to see them animated and interacting and get to converse with them more. So for some people, that's priceless, right? For generations and grandchildren and things like that.
Okay, Roxanne, that just kind of blew my mind. I'm just like staring at you like, wow. Okay, so you're telling me that you can use music to orient the spirit of a person who maybe has dementia or they have Alzheimer's or something to that effect. So does it live, maybe this is like, I don't know if this is the right way to ask it, but does music and like notes and the beats and the production, the work, like does it like live in us, or do our hearts respond in a certain way to like certain kind of music that we hear? Do we does it the beats like attach themselves to our bodies in ways? Because I've seen you posting some things about like I don't know, is it like binaural vibrations and stuff? So I want you to talk about that and then answer that question of do those things live in our body and does our body activate around those sounds?
Absolutely. So, Rue, there is an actual certification called neurological music therapy, and it's outside of music therapy. One who's board certified as a music therapist. So the exact science and details, I am not fully versed in that.
Totally.
However, I myself know a certain amount of information, like different frequencies that kind of respond more to different areas of the body, or different ailments or diseases, and can speak to that. And really, it's just really the central channel system of the body, the spine, the energy points, the chakras.
Yeah.
So there are different frequencies. I could go into a long thing about this, but the colors, which also are in music, and then the frequencies and the different areas of where in the body that matches up to. And I just think of like Colorful playing the piano right now as I'm speaking about that. Definitely check out her page. The company is beautiful in what they do. But again, I'm going off on a tangent, but yes, like, you can use different frequencies to address and clear and heal certain ailments, diseases, or um, things that you need to address in
And
your
like the
body.
concept of sound therapy and like the concept of, you know, different instruments and sounds and the vibrations of those things. I mean, that's so ancient, right? Like, I mean, we think about like the drums and we think about flutes and like things of that nature. And when we kind of bring it towards like modern uses and techniques of healing, do you find that people are like very open to discussing like their mental health struggles or their challenges and being really open to using music as a way of like helping them rise out of that?
So,
Or do they just, are they like, oh, I can't, I don't know, you know?
right. So I can only speak from my experience. So I don't know if this is like really an absolute or a law or a fact, but because I've mostly worked for institutions like Aurora Charter Oak Hospital, Kalinga State Hospital, um, before I founded Live, Love, Life Music. And so for the most part, the clients there, they had to go to group. They had to go to group. So they didn't necessarily, outside of that setting, I don't think they would have actively known or even thought of looking for music or a music therapist to help. However, when they are in group, they certainly, even if there's initial resistance, once they start engaging in the process of music therapy, everyone is on board. They realize there's so many benefits. And if we're talking specifically with mental health, some of my favorite interventions are lyric analysis, where instead of having your traditional talk therapy, you can use analyzing lyrics as a non-invasive way to start opening up and having a conversation, and then from there probing deeper, whatever methods you're using. I like to use motivational interviewing, but getting them to open up and explore through the song. So you think of, say, someone's struggling with a family issue and they like the artist Pink. Maybe you'd find a song from Pink and you'd print the lyrics and then you'd listen to the song together and talk about what each line means, how it relates to us or not, which opens up a whole can of worms. And then we can start to like peel the layers and look at the behaviors and see how we can modify them and just have a whole process from there.
Yes.
So
Wow.
that's one of many. I could go on and I ramble sometimes.
So you're listening to you and it's really just turning so many wheels in my head because I have always had a flair for the dramatic, right? And so when I was a kid, and I mean I'm dating myself here, but when Alanis Morissette's album Jagged Little Pill came out like a million years ago, like that album was so important to me because the way she sang my angst, you know, the way those the music and the notes, like I can remember the song when she's like singing, you know, like "What's the Matter, Mary Jane," and I just remember
Yeah.
everything. Like it makes me feel everything. And you know, when you're in your teens, it's very much like, oh, like the whole world is crazy. But I really do feel like there's so many opportunities that I've realized. Okay, I'm really tapping into this music on a soul level. Obviously, there's sounds we like, they feel good, we, you know, makes us whatever. But there's sometimes I'm like, wow, like how is Alanis Morissette singing these songs like this? How is she bringing these sounds around to me? And I have that same, you know, reaction with like Whitney Houston songs or Aretha Franklin or Drake or, you know, whatever it is, right? So for you, what are some songs that tap into your best feelings, you know, that make your mental health feel the strongest, that make you feel the most supported, that make you feel the most encouraged, and that instantly put you in a top-notch mood?
That puts me in a top-notch mood. Oh, I hate questions like this because it's like
Many to name, right?
there's
Yeah.
so many. So in this moment, I'm just gonna have to choose. In this moment, could be different another moment, but
Yeah.
the first thing that comes to mind is Bob Marley's Three Little Birds. It's a simple song, but it
Yes.
just feels good, and it reminds me of my roots. My parents are Jamaican, and
Or mine. Yes.
oh,
Very.
excellent. So it just feels good.
Three little birds, which by it's like the moment that I think that there is a moment where we don't even realize that we're tapping in, you know. And I think that that's what I feel like that's why in building this community with Happy, like sometimes people don't even realize that they do need emotional support, or like with Happy Music, you know, artists don't even realize that sometimes what they're saying really is like saving someone, or it's giving them a feeling, and that's something that people hold on to. So if folks wanted to connect and they wanted to learn more about music therapy, and they perhaps wanted to like book a session, like how does that happen? You know, how can they be involved with your institute and with your healing work?
Absolutely. So I don't know who's out there, if there are organizations that put together programming, or if it's an individual person, people needing things for events. It looks differently depending on different people's needs. So anyone in the IG community who just wants to get more information and has questions, definitely DM me. That's the best way. And then we can connect. We can book like complimentary call where we just explore what you want, whether it's to find out how music therapy could work for you or your organization, or an event that you may have, or just questions you have about the industry, the field. If you want to become a music therapist, anything, just DM me and we'll set up a time to connect.
Yes, I love that. I really want to make sure that we continue to have a conversation with you. I would love it if you would build, it's just like a quick profile at happymusic.com. And really, because what the website is designed to do is to be a platform for artists and fans alike to come together and feel supported by their music. And I would love it. I'll send you an email about this. We'd love to have your thoughts, your words on the platform. And if you're watching the replay of this, please download Happy, visit Happy. Please connect with Roxanne. I really believe that this work you're doing, I know that you know it's your life's work, but I really just feel like it's so impactful, you know, and I want to learn more and continue to connect with you. And so if there's any way we can continue to support you here at Happy, please, please, please let us know. And is there any, big project you're working on or anything you want folks to look out for?
Wow, I'm so glad you asked, Rue. Oh my goodness. Thank you. So I'm really excited. I'm all my experience working, in mental health, working in shelters, doing community programs and whatnot. I use a lot of the same methodologies and practices, processes, interventions, and I want to be able to offer this one-on-one more than group settings. And so I'm definitely going to be coming out within a few weeks of my specialized course. It's geared to women. I'll get more specific with the women that I'm seeking, but definitely know that it's going to be great. It's about managing our mood, our emotions, especially if you suffer from anxiety, and really just learning how to be a boss, a beautiful, optimistic, successful soul, a boss lady. Yeah.
I
In
love that.
control and confident in their life. And so it's a passion of mine and it's coming together. So definitely be on the lookout for that.
Absolutely. I can feel the energy. I honestly can. I can feel the vibe. Well, let's plan to have you back and let's do something else, and we'll absolutely support your program. And again, to people who are watching the replay, please connect, shoot Roxanne a DM, reach out to us. And thank you so, 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 so much for your time. I'm really, really looking forward to connecting with you and continuing to support you. So thank you for everything.
Thank you.
So
I'll
much.
see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.